Hey Wildcats, welcome back to a new edition of Cats on Camera.
This week's guest is Chico State Strength and Conditioning Coach, Colin Coughenour. Coach Colin, thank you so much for coming on to Cats on Camera.
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much, Ricky, Brooklyn, for hosting today. Can't wait to dive in.
All right, so what are you doing now to continue to implement a top-tier strength and conditioning program at Chico State?
Well, I can tell you that, man, the challenges have been many, but the successes have also been many. And starting early on, when we were forced to go to distance learning, we were forced to go online. And I wasn't, despite, all of my best intentions and efforts, there was no way that me, myself, or our athletic department could go and be face-to-face. Immediately, I started looking for alternatives. The most convenient alternative or most convenient way to connect with our student athletes is social media because they're already on it. So that was the first way to reach out. So immediately getting on Instagram, well, I got on Twitter, but honestly, I dropped that Twitter immediately. Like, I don't use Twitter at all. There was way too much drama, like in the first 30 seconds. I'm like, I don't want this. So Instagram, where it's at Chico State Strength. Check it out, subscribe, even if you're not a Wildcat student athlete, if you're an alum or anybody in the community or anybody anywhere, if you're hearing this at Chico State Strength, because I still post some stuff to kind of keep y'all engaged. But that was only just the bait. So that was the bait. That was the initial connect immediately, let my student athletes know we're still here for them. We still are going to support them. And I posted content daily. And what it ended up being is I had so much really helpful content for them, not only strength and conditioning specific, so not only strength programs and speed programs and nutrition and so on and so forth. I had so much more that I wanted to share, and it just wasn't enough. So it took almost 2 months, but after about 2 months, I was able to connect at Chico State. We have a phenomenal IT department, and they were able to connect me, hook me up, and get me on Blackboard, which is our learning management software that all of our students already use for all of their classes and course content. So we created a strength and conditioning organization. We meaning they created the organization. I filled it in, and now it is just a wealth of information. It's a database of information that's really easy to navigate. Our student athletes not only have access to the stuff that they would have had access to in person, but we've built up like this treasure chest of awesomeness where they can go in and they can see, hey, here's my program from last year. Here's our program from this year. Here's our program going into next year. They can see the progression. They can look at the fitness testing results. They can look at the fitness testing expectations. They can compare themselves to where they are, to where they want to be. It helps them set goals. Not only can they just look at nutritional content and understand what it is, what eating good looks like, but also they have there's hundreds, if not thousands of recipes that are sorted by category that are all easy to manage. Like, honestly, I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but meaning the athletic strength and conditioning at Chico State have created a phenomenal resource for our student athletes that I do know what other coaches in our conference are doing, and they have put out good content, good YouTube channels, good demos. Good luck keeping up. We're killing it.
That's awesome. All right, so looking ahead to the rest of the semester, what can the student athletes expect from any of the upcoming programs that you have planned to release?
Okay, so in reference to programs where we're at now and where we're going, in reference to programs meaning strength programs, conditioning programs. Where we are is essentially we're recycling. We just finished a peak power phase. Now here's the deal. Every single sport has been off season. Every single sport. So we have to understand the context. We have an entire year. We didn't expect it to be a year, but we have an entire year now where everybody has a chance to completely develop physically, if they have access to facility, of course. they have the opportunity to completely develop holistically, whereas their sport-specific practices would have taken a large chunk of volume away from their training as far as strength and power are concerned. So every single sport, every single athlete, if they are choosing to follow the 2020 to 2021 weight room progression, is now going into, they just finished a peak power phase, and they're recycling into what's called a hypertrophy or basic strength phase, which is like a higher volume, higher repetition. It's a chance to build up areas of weakness and build up actual muscle tissue. So actually build muscle in areas of weakness. And then we essentially repeat the second half of our cycle. So it'll go basic strength hypertrophy, also known as an accumulation phase for strength and conditioning coaches out there. They'll usually call this accumulation 1. Then we'll go into accumulation 2, which is more of a maximal strength phase, and it is what it says it is, get you really flipping strong. And then the last phase, which I always break into 2, which is power, and I have a transitional phase. I go hypertrophy, which is muscle building, then I go maximal strength, which is inherent in the name. And then my power phase is a transitional phase between maximal strength and power. Then I do a peak power phase, which is a lot less of heavy weights, and it's just move really explosively. I mean, if I was to say, what does my peak power phase look like? And that's how they'll wrap up the year. So they wrapped up the fall semester going into the winter, and their winter was a peak power emphasis. They kind of recycled the second half of their development, meaning that the fall started off with what's called strength endurance, which is a lot of body weight and light weight for high repetition.
All right, so Coach, final question for you. When you were at Sonoma State, there is a picture still up on their website of you with the goatee. The picture is right here for everybody at home. Is there any chance that when we return, you'll bring the goatee back?
Where's the picture?
It was on their website. I typed in Coach Colin Coughenour, and then it popped up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I rocked a goatee since like I was 15 years old. Like I looked like I was 25 as a freshman. Like I had forehead wrinkles, just like deep forehead wrinkles before I could drive a car. So yeah, I rocked a goatee until I don't know, 5 years ago, probably, when I started consistently shaving. But when will the goat come back? I don't know if the goat will ever come back. My wife hates it. But if something comes back, I usually go Grizzly Adams for November. And I get fuzzy, man. I get pretty fuzzy, but it itches too much. I don't know if I can rock the beard for more than a month. So every November, come holler at me like, right around Thanksgiving, and I'm always looking like I just came out of the woods.
And you got to listen to the wife too, so whatever she says goes.
Most of the time, and then anytime it doesn't, I just, get myself in the doghouse. So yeah, you're right. I'm still hard-headed. It's not working out.
All right. Well, Coach, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
It's wonderful. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble on.
Thank you.